about speed. So Whitney asked me about it, Nick gave it to me. This is when we got it. I got it from Nick about 3 weeks later.
Okay.
So it's now been handed off to the road commissioner, but I was told today they didn't think anything could be done about it. So I don't know. Whitney, there's that petition. It's a petition that we received. It's now going through the process with the road commissioner, but I heard from them today that they don't think anything can happen with it because of the type of road it is. So just so the board has it. Okay? Whitney, that's that petition. I've put it together, but I received a call from Dina. She doesn't think it can go anywhere because of the type of road it is. But anyway, you guys have it and it's in the process. Thank you. Okay?
Are we ready to go?
And Whitney, I'm taking the motions in the second, so I really want to keep track of who makes the motion.
I got it. I also will keep track of it as well.
All right, good, thank you.
Thank you. Want to do it?
I didn't share my night. Okay.
Hey, talking in mics now.
I want to welcome everyone here. I call this meeting to order. It's 5:30 and it's August 23rd, 6 at 2025. Thank you. I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everyone. We're going to start this meeting off with the town manager's report. Nick?
So for clarification, it's August 26th, not 23rd.
Thank you.
Go, Whitney. I just have a couple updates. I've engaged our auditing firm. I mentioned last meeting and the meeting before that we're behind an audit. I've gotten an initial start to a game plan to get the town back on track. It's going to take some work, but we're going to put a plan together and get that situated. Been working with Denise on the CDS funds. We are into the application portal. We have on the agenda today to hopefully approve a proposal to complete the environmental assessment. And those are key pieces in order to get this funding unlocked and get the ball fields going for the next phase. Jason and I have been working, he's not here tonight, but Jason and I have been working with Maine Municipal Association's legal team on how to present some options for the Hilton Bridge. It's complicated having another municipality have stake in it, but we're looking at options to potentially donate this or turn this over to an ATV club in order to bolster that area. But we need to make sure we have the town's liability in place first before we turn over an asset like that. And lastly, I'd like to announce, folks have maybe read it, but we have a new fire chief, Ryan Johnston, and I would like to welcome him and anyone else who's going to be a part of his pinning ceremony to come up front now and to partake in this ceremonial ceremony.
The first I'm hearing of this.
Surprise.
Make sure you slam it into his chest.
That's it for me.
All right, we're going to move on to committee reports. We'll start off with Chief Bucknam.
Respectfully, I think the new chief should go first.
All
I have
right.
nothing to report. Except I'm going for pizza in about 5 minutes.
Well, you're up next, Chief Johnston. Oh, I guess you go ahead then.
Appreciate it. So on Monday, we had the sincere pleasure and honor to promote internally at the Skowhegan Police Department from patrol officer to detective, and I would like to invite Detective Carolyn Taylor to come up front, please, introduce herself to the selectmen. She is Skowhegan's newest detective. She comes with a plethora of wealth and knowledge and time under her belt. She's going to serve us very well in the community.
I'm holding back.
I appreciate that, Dickie. Thank you. I don't know if I have enough to stop you today. Thank you, Carolyn. So over the weekend, we had an individual off the Russell Road that got lost out in the woods out back there. He'd been missing for 24 hours. The family notified us at about 20 hours into it that he was actually missing. So we had a few hours of daylight. I would like to thank Chief Johnson for calling me and offering his assistance with his team to come out and do it. But right around 8:30, we decided to pull one last in-search line search out there, and we had enlisted the help of a few of the ATVers and a couple of citizens that were out there, and lo and behold, we found him sitting at the edge of a field with a house right there, and then 10 feet of woodland. So probably weird thing is that when people get lost like that, they usually lay down or sit down on the ground and they crawl up under a bush, stay warm, keep bugs off of them, and then we will walk right by them and not see them, and 9 times out of 10, especially when it's getting dark, they start to get a little nervous. They don't know what's walking around, but we were very fortunate to have stumbled upon this gentleman, and he was good to go. Motivated, sat down in the woods, he said, to take in the sights. And I said, well, it's pitch black out here, bud. What are you looking at? And but Reddington was able to get out there to the woods for us, and we got him out of there. So he's safe. He's probably home now at this point in time. But I wanted to thank everybody that was involved with that, especially the 2 citizens, and I do have their names up at the police department, and I'll recognize them at a later date. But they're the ones that came across him, and very happy to have been able to work with our citizens here in Skowhegan to make a happy ending to that outcome. I also want to make sure everybody understands tomorrow's school. We're starting back to school. The new school will be open tomorrow. So as parents and you're dropping your kids off, please make sure you're being polite and everything else going through there. First day of school is always a madhouse as people try to figure out their routines again. There will be law enforcement officers at every school tomorrow. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to stop and ask them. I'm sure they'll be able to direct you in the right direction, especially if you drive your car in the wrong way. You're gonna meet them. So very excited to see the new school that's going to be opening tomorrow, and the kids that are going to be going over there. So I will be over there personally to welcome them in tomorrow. So very excited about that. But other than that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Could you mind giving an update on the substation, what we're waiting on?
Sure.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't met Officer Shane Dutill, I was going to introduce him to you guys when he officially stepped into that role, but he will be taking that position as soon as we get some security issues taken care of down there. We have some quotes for a couple of different things that I'll present to you, and then once we move forward with that, then we'll start integrating him to that station down there. I am happy to report, Randy, that over the last couple of weekends I've had the bathrooms open, and you know, of course we. Okay, yeah, just want to let you know, so that is happening, and I think it's beneficial for everybody. So I know over the last couple of weekends, we've had some events down there, out by the walking bridge out back. Everybody saw me Friday night down there at Old Mill Pub, and they said, Chief, why are you working? And I said, what? Listen to a great band with a great evening, great weather, and grown adults enjoying themselves and behaving. I couldn't ask for a better night. And I'll tell you, it was exactly what that was. Old Mill Pub did a great job organizing and putting that event on, and then the Brew Fest was the next day, and again, same stuff took place. So looking forward to future engagements down there. But.
Must have been bored.
Boring? No. Every time I got bored, I thought of you, and it got me all excited.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Johnston.
whole lot to report. I will say we've been particularly busy lately. These firefighters behind me right now, they are some of the best in the state. I've worked all through the state, and they are phenomenal. We had a structure fire last week on the Middle Road, and I'll just say other times that I've seen that very similar fire, it hasn't gone as well as it has gone. It's because of these knowledge, skills, abilities of these people behind me. You're very fortunate to have these people in your town as firefighters, so I think they're going to make my job relatively easy. I'll never say it's going to be totally easy, but if there's any questions, that's all I got for now.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ryan. Is Brian Bellevue in?
No.
Okay. Gail?
I do not have much, but I just want to let everyone know that we all know there's a election that's coming in November, and I've been told that the state site is ready to receive requests for absentee ballots. So just to let you know, there's another election coming our way. Thank you.
Thanks, Gail.
And another thing, our 30-day period for 30-day notices ended yesterday, so now it's the rest of the week, and next week is a short week, so we have a turnaround really quick time for liens to go to the registry, so they will be filed at the registry on September 4th, Thursday morning, as soon as we can get them all put together. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Jason?
He's awesome.
Okay. Donnie?
We've had a productive couple months at the plant. I talked to the assistant director of the TAPS program. The TAPS program is an advocacy group through the Department of Energy. What they do is they advocate for grants, and there's all different programs. It's a wide array of advocacy. I spoke with the assistant director. The plant does qualify for an ITAC grant. This is all preliminary. We're running all the numbers. They're putting together a grant package. So we'll see. I just wanted to announce it. But so far we do qualify. So it would be an energy independence grant. This is outside of the main subsidy for the panels. This is a full-on grant. But I think we need to pursue it because it could potentially save the town millions of dollars over the next 20 years. So to not pursue it would be foolish. So just wanted to let everyone know that we are working on that, and it is very preliminary. So we'll see. Thanks.
Thank you, Donnie. Cindy?
Just a couple of reminders. Please, no skunks in the compactors again. Had somebody there this morning. Luckily, Dwayne came out of the building, smelled it, and stopped him from throwing it in. No animals in the compactors, please, especially skunks. If it sits there for a couple days, if it's a fairly empty compactor, it's brutal on the employees and the townspeople. So please, out in the woods somewhere, okay? Just a reminder that the select board had decided to no longer, previous select board had decided to no longer take ashes at the transfer station. Reason being, there's new DEP regulations, would have cost the town a lot of money, and we were getting a lot of contaminated ashes up there. It wasn't just clean wood ashes, which means they would have failed the required testing, and we would have had to pay special waste costs to get rid of them. So just a reminder, winter's coming, ashes, they great for tread on snow and ice. DEP says to spread them on your lawn, so. Also, just a reminder down at the wood pile, please, no trash, pressure-treated wood. Been seeing a lot of stuff down there that doesn't belong, and that stuff does get chipped, it gets checked. So just want to keep it clean wood, okay? And I'm sure if you've been up to the transfer station since Friday, you've seen the new trailers. We finally got them here. Want to thank Charlie and Son. They did an amazing job modifying, lettering them, everything. We found one location for one of the trailers. It'll be to collect cardboard, mixed paper, newspaper, magazines, any kind of paper. We're working with Brian behind the businesses where Main Street used to park their trailer, back it right in there. The other ones I'm working on, sorry, a little cold. Working on a location, if anybody has any suggestions on, a convenient location, that way people can drop off their stuff 24 hours a day. And I think that's about it. So, thank you.
Will you still be doing the check tomorrow at Norwich Walk? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep,
I think that's a great idea.
yep.
Yeah.
So, I was there Monday morning. The load wasn't. They had already pushed it in the hole. So, just kind of keeping on the down low. And yes, I am checking all of our commercial haulers.
All right, thank you.
So, I had emailed all of you. Let me know if you want to meet me there. So, okay?
Thank you, Cindy. Denise?
I just want to give an update that our bleachers have been installed in our new gymnasium. Well, not the new gymnasium, but it looks brand new. If you haven't checked them out, please do so. It looks really good. We still have just the trim around the columns and the edging of the gym trim from the floor company, but bleachers look really good and we're very happy with them. So I did post it on our Facebook page to show everybody, but you're welcome to come up and check it out. Looking forward to all the junior high kids and coming over tomorrow. They're excited to see the new floor, so we look forward to seeing them walking across the field to the community center tomorrow, so for open gym. So we're excited to see them. And just give you an update, we, every month, the first of the month, Somerset Woods trustees, Main Street, Skowhegan, and us meet on Trails Committee. We had a successful meeting beginning of this month. We're talking about the project at the Philbrook Trail, expanding and rehabilitating the existing trail. I did invite Donnie to come, with the pollution control being the trailhead of that, and tapping into, as he said, his environmental, all his grant funding. So, it's going to be kind of a win-win situation for our trailhead in Philbrook. So we're excited to work with Donnie, have him be involved so that we can do that trailhead over in that area. So fall programs brochure is some tweaking some few things there, but everybody is invited to come register for all fall programs are open right now. So please swing in or give us a call. Thank you.
Thanks, Denise. Those pickleball courts are great. That whole gym floor, if you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. And the bleachers are beautiful. So that's a great upgrade for the recreation community. So we're going to move on to items by the public. Anybody who wants to speak, please step up to the mic. Randy.
I won't take a lot of time tonight. I have just two things. One, we're kind of wondering where we are at the rec department. And are we focused on just one job now, one job alone? Everyone does on Facebook. I'm personally one that don't, so sometimes my information's second-handed. But there is a lot of people that still wondering that. And number two is, it was the same when I was here. Every department head gets credit. Every department head here gets credit for one thing or another. And we sometimes forget our true people behind the scenes. Last week, when the fair was going on, I made sure I did this anytime I went to Walmart or Hanford. These police officers that were standing out there at 100-degree weather, sweating their asses off, excuse my French. And they did it so professional. I was impressed. And they should get some praise for what they do. They really do. They're not that's truly better service to the public than having them wrestle down a drunk somewhere. It truly is. And it's, I appreciate what they did up there last week, and everyone should.
Thank you, Randy. Janet?
I was going to come up before you said my name.
He got your name
Got
right
it.
this time. He got it
I
right.
know, he did. I know that you guys are working on ordinances, I think you have said before, maybe in some of your unfinished business.
We have a next week. We have a planning board meeting with a joint select board planning board meeting.
Okay, good, I intend to come, because I had my family member in an era nursing home, and just going down the road to this nursing home, I felt like I was going to the dump, if you know what I mean. So anyway, I just feel like, you know, we're supposed to have fences that are good repair fences and whatnot. We're not supposed to have cars that are unregistered. I feel like it is a unregistered junkyard, because everything in those bins seem to move between metal and wood. I think he gets things other places and does things with them. I'm not sure, but he's got 3 places in town. And I just think it's horrible, and I hope that you will use that as an example of what not to do. Thank you.
Thanks, Janet.
Thanks, Janet. Chris?
Hey guys, how's it going tonight? Just want to say officially a month ago today we opened the ATV trail. Within the last month we've had our grand opening. We had 75 machines at our grand opening. Over 200 people came and took part, raised a lot of money, did a fantastic job getting the word out there. In that last month, every day that I've been by Ken's or the bowling alley or the Chinese restaurant, there's ATVs at these businesses. I know they've been down to visit your place, getting great comments about the tour and, you know, the things in downtown. Saturday night, there was a group of over 20 machines that came down and went to the pub, enjoyed music and stuff. So it's making a significant difference in the ATV world, having Skowhegan open, and people are loving it. With that, we are getting a few minor complaints here or there, and those complaints are being fielded back to me to try and work and figure things out. Nothing major. I'm very happy to announce that we haven't had any accidents, we haven't had any speeding violations or anything. I've talked with the chief. I actually made him aware. I think it was Saturday morning, there was a group of ATVs at Alice's restaurant. And I stopped personally to find out how they got there. Did not tell them who I was. I just wanted, hey, I'm an ATVer, how'd you guys get here? And after they told me and what they had done, I said, okay, how do I fix this problem? I'm the trail master. So I'm getting feedback from that, and they were like, how do we get back to the trail without getting in trouble? So I led them the fastest, easiest way back, but we're taking the feedback, you know, and making this work. So happy to say there was a large group on Sunday that checked a large portion of our trails and stuff to save the officers and stuff having to do that, and we reached out to landowners, so, you know, they have cameras out there, they knew what was going on the trails and stuff, so that saved a lot of time when they were working, looking for the gentleman that was lost. So, you know, Janet brought some concerns tonight to me, people riding without helmets and stuff. And as a club, we can't do nothing, but we're gonna continue to post and you know, make this, you know, a foreseen, you know, something that we can hopefully get across. So, but all in all, in the last month, business has been booming and people are coming, people are liking it. So I'm hoping to continue moving forward and make some more trails so that more businesses can, you know, benefit and more people can benefit. So.
Thank you, Chris.
Any questions?
I just think we need to, it would be great to expand the trails, but we have to balance that out with, you know, the violations and what the police department has to do to deal with it. I think at some point, we need to come up with some, when the ATVers are in violation of where they should be going, and if it's egregious, we need to have some serious penalties.
Absolutely. There was, so I spoke to Chelsea, I don't know what her exact title is.
Administrative assistant.
She let me know of a gentleman that Tuesday night during the fair that was seen at Gifford's Dairy late at night, unregistered machine, no lights on it, doing crazy things. And my attitude is impound the ATV and throw him in jail, let his parents come get him. He's a minor, you know, or whatever. Maybe that doesn't work, but you know, it'll get a point across. We also, what I forgot to mention, for the first time ever, we had 85 machines enter Skowhegan Fairgrounds without a problem. The 86th one is what stopped it for the week and was a problem.
You know that's what 86 means, right?
Yeah, I know. That young man decided to take an exit out the other end of the Midway, and Mim Porter and a couple of the other deputies stopped him and detained him and detained the four-wheeler until his parents could get there, and there was a whole onslaught. But right now we're the only fairgrounds in the state of Maine that has ATV access, and the fairgrounds is really hoping that we can come up with a better solution to keep that happening. And you know, but with everything there's going to be little hiccups in how we handle those, and I am all about making sure that people understand that, you know, we can forgive once, but you know, this is not going to be tolerated. So absolutely. Anything from anybody else?
I would just like to mention that during that search for that elderly male, Mr. White was out there with his wife, assisting us as well. And so again, thank you to your team that was out there that provided some assistance to us. You know, it took the whole block to make that happen, and it happened. So
I'm really proud to say that the group in Skowhegan that came out that night, you know, the first 24 hours is crucial, and to find him in that situation in as good of health as he was is great. Sorry, I just looked back at Corey and that reminded me one other thing.
thanks, Corey.
Yeah, thanks.
A gentleman from Athens who owns a ATV business, campground up there, came to Skowhegan, went to Heights, and purchased a brand new truck on his ATV. And that speaks volumes. To be able to ride your ATV down and buy a truck. And when the salesman asked him what he was trading in, now I don't know if it was the Ford garage, or I'm assuming it was a Chevy because that's the only one the trail goes to, but still, I'm not 100%. But when the salesman asked him what he was trading in, he said, I'm here on my ATV. And that to me is a great sales pitch. So I really, you know, I'm thankful that Heights was able to partake in that, so.
Do they have to drag the new vehicle home or with the TV, with the ATV?
That I don't know, you know, I guess. Only Chevrolet.
Cindy?
Before I became the supervisor at the transfer station, I worked very closely down here with the Heritage Council, and I just wanted to see what was happening with that because the holder of the Skowhegan's Boston Post cane passed away in June. That was Irene Dumont. She was 107. And I know that that was a great thing that the Heritage Council had brought back into Skowhegan and got that going again. There was some big celebrations for, I think they handed out to 3 different people while I worked with them. So I just didn't know if somebody could look into that. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Seeing no more items by the public, we're going to go in reverse now, and we're going to do items by the Select Board. So I'll start off with Amber.
Thanks.
Oh, wait, I'm going to go back two, and we're going to go through conflicts of interest.
Sure. I have no conflicts this evening, thank you.
I have none either.
Kevin? Ethan?
Oh, I have one, C, section C, number 3. I'm bowing out of that one.
Okay. And I have no conflicts of interest either. Now we're going to move on to Select Board items, and we'll start with Amber.
Thank you. I will just, two things. Wanted to start by saying I was saddened yesterday to learn of the passing of Mike Earl as a result of injuries incurred from an accident. And he was a longstanding community member, and he and his family welcomed my husband and I into this community when I first started dating Mike and was trekking up here to visit him. He was living in one of Mike Earl's rentals in the oldest townhouse or farmhouse in Skowhegan. So I will always think of him fondly as a steward of many farmland parcels in Skowhegan, and then later in life in the businesses of the area. So deepest condolences to Ida Earl and the whole family. And then second, I just wanted to congratulate and say thank you to all the volunteers who came out over the weekend for another fun community festival at the Brewfest, hosted by Main Street. We helped work it in volunteer capacities, but I was helping tend the grand opening of the beer garden. So you can come down and see us there, Riverside at the walk-up window, Thursday through Sunday, 12 to 8. It is now open with gorgeous views of the river.
Thank you, Amber. That's a beautiful place down there.
Yeah.
Yep. Ethan?
The Brewfest looked like it was a great time. I drove by as I was getting out of work, so I'm kind of sorry I didn't get to go to that. But other than that, I don't have anything else.
Kevin?
I have nothing tonight.
I wasn't here last week. I was away at my parent company, but it just seemed like a lot's happened since then. I mean, I have like a really long list, but you know, the Brewfest and Chief Johnson getting promoted. You know, I just wanted to send a special thanks out to Heights for all their organization with the new school and everything that has kind of gone on over there. The Child Development Center is incredible, and how cool, right? How cool for Skowhegan to have a kid who can be in the same school for 6, 7, 8, 9 years more, right? So pretty neat. And the rec department, right? Congrats on getting that all kind of put back together. The beer garden, you know, the apartments in the spinning mill are progressing. And yeah, and we're just super busy right now with back to school and super excited. You know, it'll be crazy tomorrow with construction sites and school buses and everything else. So be careful, everyone, and thanks.
Thank you, Elijah. I just want to bring up, I was, last week, I was observing the police doing their work on Water Street, and it was pretty interesting. I always like watching those guys in action. And I was sitting on the church steps on Water Street, the Catholic church, and I looked over and I see that they were getting ready to serve dinners. So I thought I would mosey over there, and I happened to see my son serving food, and I was like, what are you doing down here? So he gave me a tour, and we looked around, and I got to see the kitchen, and they let me help them, and we served about 130 meals. It was really gratifying to see all these people get together to help so many people in need in and around Skowhegan. And there's so much of that around here, even with school supplies, the apothecary, and Becoming Change, pulling all those clothes together for all those people. It's a very generous thing that you do and that these people do. We got a great community here, and I just want to recognize those things. So we're going to move on to the public hearing. We're going to open the public hearing for item 1, which is a discussion and decision to approve the application for an on-premises beer, wine, and spirits license for Joe's Flatiron Cafe at 65 Water Street in Skowhegan. Is there anybody here to speak reference to this application? Seeing no further discussion, we'll close the public hearing. And I will now entertain a motion to approve the application for an on-premise beer, wine, and spirits license for Joe's Flatiron Cafe. All in favor?
So moved as written?
I'll second that.
We got a first from Amber and a second from Ethan. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
What?
We will now move on to the consent agenda. The first item of business is the approval of the minutes from our last meeting. So I would need a motion to approve it.
I move we approve the minutes as presented.
Second?
I have a first from Amber and a second from Elijah. It has been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Are there any corrections or changes? All right. Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carries. All right, so motion will carry 4-0, and Elijah is abstaining. We move on to item 2, which is to approve a pole location permit from Central Maine Power Company and Consolidated Communications to play. Of course.
Don't we usually do the whole consent agenda in one motion, or am I wrong?
Sometimes depends on how,
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't necessarily have.
We don't have to, but
Hey,
We can do that next time. So we're going to approve, this is a discussion to approve a pole location permit from Central Maine Power Company and Consolidated Communications to place one pole on Pennell Street, approximately 338.77 feet northerly of the intersection of Pennell Street and Route, I believe there's a typo there.
yeah, there's a typo.
Route
Yeah.
2. All right, do I have a motion?
Approve is written.
We'll say approved, but with the.
Approved, but with the change that Route
3 is to
3 is to 2.
Perfect.
All right. We have a first from Ethan
Second?
and a second from Kevin. All right, discussion?
just one question was, our signatures are already on the permit, so why is this coming up again?
I think I need to sign it, but
I think it was received on August 11th,
Yep.
and it was signed by the Selectboard the night of the special town meeting.
Okay.
But then it came to me, and I wondered how I had it when we got it on the 11th, and we didn't have a meeting. So I kind of like said, I think it needs to go on an agenda.
Ah, okay,
So that's why it's on the agenda.
okay.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. We're now going to move on to the regular agenda, and the first item up is discussion and decision to allow the town manager to sign the 5-year renewal contract with Casella. Do I have a motion?
So moved as written.
Seconded?
We have a first from Amber and a second from Kevin. Shall we have a discussion?
Cindy, are you comfortable with this?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Now, is this something that goes out to bid?
This is the company that we have used to market and sell all of our recyclables for many years, Randy. Yeah. I know that they have used other companies a long time ago, but there were issues as far as getting the material moved, getting it sold in a timely manner, and we don't have the storage to hold on to 3-4 loads, because that's about 35 bales per load. So Casella has always done a really great job with us. As soon as we have a load, they are usually there next week, picking it up. It's sold, we get the checks. So this is just a renewal of the contract. The only thing that changed in this contract is we no longer separate out, excuse me, newspaper and magazines. Those all get mixed in with mixed paper and regular paper now, so that was the only change to the contract that you see now.
Are there competitors in this area? No.
Not for marketing, pretty much Casella has, I mean, there is Maine Resource Recovery Association, but for the volume that we do, it's just, we can't sit on that material for them to shop it around and stuff. Casella, they have buyers, they're ready for it.
Yep.
So-
And then on the price table that you included here, what does HY mean? HY plus 750, HY minus 30?
I gotta see it, I don't have it with me,
Okay.
I'm sorry, Amber.
Like baled cardboard,
I think
the
it's
price is...
H yard or something yard.
That is just the market rate and transportation costs, which we don't pay for ours. That's just their standard chart. So what we get paid is whatever the market is at the time.
Okay.
Yep.
What does SRPN stand for? Baled SRPN number?
That's the
56.
mixed paper,
Mixed paper.
right.
So just curious, what's the benefit of contracting this? Making sure that they come every week? when you-
Exactly.
okay.
Making sure that all I have to do is send an email. I have a load of cardboard ready. I get an email right back, usually same day, saying you're on the list. Usually within a few days, I have a bill of lading saying we're going to be here on that date.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yep.
They have a list of contractors that we couldn't even think of.
All over the world. I mean, our material goes to Canada, it goes out west, it goes some to Fairfield, to Hootamaki. They work with pretty much everybody who's looking for material.
Used to work for China,
Yeah, used to. Used to work a lot with China.
single stream did that.
Yeah, closed down China. Yep. So they are very reliable. I've never had an issue working with them to get the recyclables moved and sold.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those, motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
I'm going to move on to item 2, discussion and decision to expend an amount not to exceed $24,216.95 from the Pollution Control Capital Reserve Account, equipment repair and maintenance designation to Uber Technology for a 10-year step screen and wash press complete rebuild. Donnie?
So this unit was put in 2004. It was rebuilt in 2014 at a cost of $26,000. And in a post-COVID world, I have secured a quote for under that amount from 11 years ago. So it's never been heard of. This is a 3-day job. They rebuild every moving part on this machine. I also entered into a 5-year service contract, and by doing that, I got 10% off on all the parts. I got the travel waived. And so it's a necessary evil, but I've secured the best price possible. So
Seems like you did a good job.
thanks.
I move we pass as written.
All right.
And I'll
well, I
second
wanna-
that.
Very good. Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.
All right, we have a first and a second, and we've had a discussion. Shall we vote? All those in favor?
Thank you.
Thanks, Donnie.
Nice job.
I'm getting there slowly. Okay. Discussion and decision to accept the estimate of labor and equipment for the Priscilla Drive Drainage System Project. The following estimates were received. Central Main Septic is $49,850. Ranger Construction is $49,900. Scully Construction, $87,735. Jason Finley recommends approving the estimate for central main septic at the amount not to exceed $49,850 and to expend that amount from the Public Works Roads and Sidewalks Capital Reserve Account, road resurfacing designation for the purchase of labor and equipment. Do I have a first?
Move as written.
Second?
I have a first from Ethan and a second from Amber. Shall we have a discussion? Guess Jason's not here, right?
I'd say unless you have some glaring issues, I would go with his recommendation. He puts a little note here at the bottom of his memo, just gives a little bit more detail. The highway department will purchase all our materials for this project. This will help keep the cost low and be able to complete on time using their equipment that's suitable for the project. So,
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Abstain.
Motion passes 4-0. Kevin abstains. We're now going to move on to item 4, discussion and decision to allow Jason Finley to go out to bid for the Oak Pond Culvert crossing. I need a first, please.
Move as written.
Second?
I have a first from Ethan and a second from Elijah. A discussion?
I reviewed the project with Jason, and it's definitely warranted. It's something he wants to get done before the hot topping's done next year.
Yes, Randy?
Yes, yes it is.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Moving on to item 5, we have a discussion and decision to accept the pre-approval for a warrant in the amount not to exceed $6,517 payable to the Registry of Deeds for the filing of 2025 tax liens. Do I have a first?
So moved as written?
Seconded?
I have a first from Amber and a second from Kevin. Shall we have a discussion? Yes, Janet.
I think it's great that we only have this year's out there, because I know years in the past, when my grandfather was a selectman, there was like a whole great big book of people owing for several years. I was wondering, this is $6,000's quite a bit of money. I saw the places that were listed on that tax booklet that we got. Is those the people that are now going to go into this bracket here?
No.
That's not it? Not the one that was on the tax thing that we got?
It wasn't in, so
The one we got in April?
the one we got in April didn't have 2025. These are 2025 taxes.
Oh, okay.
2024
Oh, it was on the other.
was in there.
Okay.
2025 will go to lien. 2026 will be the ones that will be coming up, and 2024s are the ones that we will be foreclosing upon if they don't pay all in full. And to file liens, it's $19 an account, and the fee is going up. So these are getting in at $19, but the registry fees are going up. So it's going to be, I've got to put it in for $19 for them to be filed, but when they're discharged, it's $25. So we have a lot of ones out there that eventually, we've paid $19 to discharge. We've paid 19, we've charged them 19, but when we discharge, it's going to be 25. So somewhere along the line, we're lacking $6. So I don't know actually what happens with that or whatever, but I just got the increase that they're increasing the filing and the discharge.
I was just wondering, I used to do insurance billing at the hospital, and they didn't charge interest, so people would wait till the last minute to pay unless you give them an incentive. Are these people doing this every year, waiting till the last minute, getting whatever, getting the lien and then doing it? Is it notoriously the same people? Is there any way for any rules to fluctuate that first time you get a deal, second time you're gonna get hit with more interest or something? I don't know if that's legal or not, but it just seems like we're spending a lot of money to make people pay their bills. That's just all I was saying. Just an idea out there, if it can work.
Yeah, Gail, can you shed some light on that, please?
So this money that's being approved, it's actually added to their account. So the town's not paying that. I mean, the town's paying it, but they're being charged for when they pay their taxes. Unfortunately, I've worked here since 1995, and it's the way it is. It's just, some people, that's how they do their budgets. It's just the way of the world. Sometimes it's the same names, which makes it easier when we have to do our research at the registry. And other times there are new names that pop up there, and it's just the way that it is. I don't think people say, this is what I'm going to do to pay my taxes. I think it's just the way that it is in their household or it is in their way of life, unfortunately. So.
It's just some of them are places that rent out, and they get their rent every month, but they're not paying their taxes. I noticed somebody on there.
Yeah,
And
nothing you can do about that.
that's sad for the people that are renting from them.
I mean, I think it's something we could look into in the future to see if it seems like if somebody's abusing it in an egregious way
Right.
and playing the system, I'm not against that. I mean, I am against that. So we could look at it. And,
I don't think there's anything you can do about that.
It's at the state level.
oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, we go through the process, we go through the state process. The letters go out, some people think they're too harsh because the 30-day notices go out saying, please don't disregard it, you could use your property. And then the next thing you know, that's out on 2025s. And then right after Christmas, I'm sending out foreclosure notices. And right now, I have 124 accounts on that 2024 list. So they're also on the 2025 list. And maybe some of them are on the 2023 list too. Sometimes you see the same names, unfortunately it is what it is.
All right. Thank you, Gail. Yes, Steve.
Yeah, and following Gail's, one of the warrant items is we do charge interest. Gail had already mentioned the penalties get added to their account. And then if it does go to foreclosure, when that property goes up for sale, we make sure we recover all the money we lost. So, ultimately, as Gail just said, if we foot the bill right now, we pay the bill right now, but we get it back in time because none of these properties are going to go. At no point has property gone to zero in this town, so we get it back.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Any further discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Moving to item 6. Discussion and decision to approve change order number 12 and to expend an amount not to exceed $44,012 to Ranger Construction from the Recreation Department Capital Reserve Account, ball field compound designation. Yes, Steve?
Oh, you want to go first?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do I have a motion?
So move for discussion.
Seconded.
We have a first and a second.
Who was the second?
Kevin.
Kevin, yep. First by Amber, second by Kevin.
All right, so this one goes back to July 22nd, and then again on August 12th. This is the change order that has been on the discussion again since those two meetings and now on this one. This is for the batting, I don't want to call them cages, that got me in trouble last time. This is for the on-deck batting boxes for the Little League fields. So this is a required item now in federal funding, federally funded projects that at the, I think it's 12 years old and under, they have to have a designated batting cage that their on-deck batters are in. So this is that item. This is the last item in terms of fencing and all that stuff that is part of the Phase 1 project.
Steve, how many batting cages are being quoted here?
6.
Why do we need 6?
These aren't batting cages, these are on-deck batters boxes. So each dugout basically gets one. Each team gets on, so their on-deck batter is warming up to the rhythm of the pitcher.
So we're on the rec side, those 3 baseball fields.
Okay.
Yep.
Home and visitor, home visitor, home visitor.
3 on each
So
side.
the on-deck circles, per regulations now for 12 and under, need to have a cage,
Yep.
theoretically.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Yeah, sure, Dale.
So it's a number 12 change order? Because it's going down the line from the other ones, from the other baseball field?
It's a single contractor, so they just see it as one. Phase 1 and Phase 2, Part 1 don't separate to them.
But this money is coming out of someplace else other than the money that we just went on a special town meeting for, floor.
This money should be, this is part of the ball field complex reserve account in the original.
Out of the 522 that we just,
No, it's
No.
coming out of the ball field reserve.
okay, so not the money that we just did on the
No.
floor?
No.
Okay. Because I'm just wondering, is this ever going to stop? These change orders?
I hope so.
I mean, it amazes me. I don't like to use 4-letter words, but we got to stop these change orders. It's just, I hate the thought that we're going to have to ever go to another special town meeting to get more money.
Yeah, so you'll see it in the next agenda item. This really comes down to, this project really needed management a lot earlier than they got it. And because these change orders are really a result of it not being looked at in a holistic way versus just an itemized way. And that's what's happening now.
But it looks like this is like something that's come into being since maybe this whole thing started. If you
Yeah.
said now they're being required to have on deck, and it amazes me that on deck Little League things are costing, because there's 6 of them, it's like $44,000.
Yeah.
I mean, is that labor, materials, or is that also engineering?
No, that's labor, materials. Yeah, it's just labor and materials.
Okay.
Putting up 8-foot fences, times
Okay,
getting them out there, drilling the holes. Yep.
thank you.
I guess when you reference just management of the project, if it's a regulation issue, why is it a change order? And why wasn't it foreseen as part of the original bid for Ranger?
The dugouts weren't part of the original bids, so when we first went to, again, this is before, kind of before my time, but when they first went out to, the dugouts first went out to bid as part of the, I'll just scream some initials here, LDRS, I don't know. The dugouts that came back, the dugouts that were designed that came back were really outside of, I think it was $440,000 for the whole kit and caboodle. So we ended up redesigning the dugouts minus these boxes. So the dugouts now, as you saw, are CMU dugouts, and now we're just making up that last piece. So if you add the 2 costs there, we actually saved about $120,000. So if you take, again, what we paid for the dugouts plus the $44,000 right now, we're still less than the original dugout bids were for $44,000 for steel frames with big foundations and everything else.
You're saying the original dugouts had batters boxes connected to them originally?
Correct, yeah. Well, it was the same exact, it had the same exact configuration, only it was also built into the design of because they were steel dugouts. They were wide open steel dugouts, yeah.
Yes, Colin?
Where are they in a range of the dugout? Are they part of the dugout?
No, they're there, so that's a good question. That's gonna get a map. Now, Coley, if you went on the tour with us on Saturday.
Well, I've been on one tour. How many do you want me to go on?
I've said that about myself a couple times. So we're here at the Little League field, so I apologize to the Selectboard members. So each dugout where it sits, and so you're familiar enough with the dugouts that are out there. So they'll sit on the plate side of the dugout. So right now, if you were walking down to say the visitor dugout of field 3, let's say, how do I describe it? If you're at home plate, right, you're looking down first base line. You're gonna see the batter cage first, then the gate that allows the kids onto the field, and then the dugout. Like, that would be the line. The only one that had to be different is, I said visitor, that's the home side. The only one that has to be different is the visitor side for field 3, just because of the proximity between the two, how close those two dugouts are. So that one's the only one that it would be the dugout, then the gate, and then the batter's cage. But all the rest of them, if you're standing on home plate, you're seeing the warm-up cage first, then the gate, and then the dugout.
My next question is, how many times, I'm sure you probably wouldn't know, Denise would know, are there 3 games going at the same time? Ever?
Yes.
Yes. Is there any, how often would that be, Denise? I've been to many, many games and never happened to see that. My question is, could we take that middle field and build these batters boxes so that all the field, the 2 fields on the edges could supply that middle field if there was a game going on? To have 6 batters boxes, we can probably cut it down to 4 where they could use both fields. Is that a possibility? Just asking.
Anything's a possibility, yep.
I think that would be the equivalent of putting a bat on deck circle outside of the field, right? If you were to try to combine them.
I would foresee a coaching issue on that one, and because when I was coaching, I do remember all 3 fields being, and that wasn't that long ago.
But only on tournaments, right?
No, we had regular games. It seemed like we had a lot more teams then, because I remember when I was coaching, we had, I think it was 8 minor league teams and 5 major league teams playing, and we were all looking for field times at the same time, and plus we were playing Smithfield, Norwich Walk, Madison, like we were playing other teams as well. But I remember having all 3 fields in use, and I will say this because, you know, when your left fielder on field 3 is getting hit by foul balls coming off of field 2, or the fans, you're screaming, hey, heads up, you know, that kind of stuff. But so I do remember, anyway, I'll play quite a few games that were played where I was on field 2 during other games being played in the other fields.
This 3-sided or something? I'm trying to picture how it really protects the child if it's only a gate in front.
No, it's 4-sided.
Oh, it's 4-sided.
Yeah, it's 4-sided, so that's a great question. Each one has its own cage, or I should own gate, and then once they go out of that gate, they have to go onto the gate that then gets them onto the field. So 4-sided with a gate, yeah.
So is the fencing that's already there, is that one of the walls of the?
That does work for 5 of the 6.
The only one, again, it doesn't work for is the visitor side for Field 3. That's because the fence in front of it is only 4 feet high. It has to be a minimum of 8 feet high. So that's the only one that we had to reset poles and everything else to put in a 8-foot fence.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to item 7. This is a discussion and a decision to approve the Wentworth Partners and Associates proposal for continued Clerk of Works Services, Athletic Complex, Phase 2, Part 2. No amount has been determined. Another agenda item will take place later with an amount and purchasing form. Do I have a motion?
So move for discussion?
Amber?
I'll second it.
Amber has a first, and Kevin does a second. Let's have a discussion. Amber?
I just want to say, I know I keep hounding that we needed this because Steve has brought to our attention that we didn't have a clerk of the works under contract to move through the next phases. But I was a little surprised to see this, Steve, just because I think we went out to bid the first time that we hired this, and I would think that a contract of this size would have to go out to bid.
Well, that's going to be totally up to you guys. I think if it's a continuation, you have the option at that point. That might be a question for someone bigger, smarter than me. But
Okay.
I think same thing with the Phase 1. I had, remember, again, going back in time, it went out to bid. You guys had no bidders. And then I was really just bringing George Bell into the equation. That's all I did.
Okay.
And then when we were doing most of our work over at Phase 1 versus Phase 2, it just got to that stage. And again, anybody that's been on a tour, you've seen all the work that went on the Phase 1 side that wasn't really part of that contract. Even you guys extended it at that stage just to Phase 1. And again, that was just to cover George's invoices to me, so.
Okay, well, you have spent a ton of time getting to know this project, and I want to honor that while asking this question, just because sitting next to you, I know we gave some of our department heads a hard time about coming to us with plans that didn't come with a bid. So I just want to make sure that we're engaging in a fair process here. And I guess my other question, and I guess we need to decide that first before we discuss your proposal, which came to us volunteered by you. Thank you. But I am wondering about a bidding process.
It was also requested because on July 10th, when we opened the bids for Phase 2, Part 2, I was being asked questions up here, and I said, I'm really done. Because I have been working on Phase 2, Part 2 since last August.
Right. So I heard you plenty of times say, I'm not your guy for this yet.
Yeah.
You haven't engaged me. So I've been raising this question that we need to move forward on securing a clerk of the works for the role. So I thought we were going to go out to bid. So I think the other thing that we don't need to get into tonight necessarily is that this proposal doesn't give us any kind of parameters around how much to spend or what kinds of people at what rate. You gave us a fee schedule, but we don't know what kinds of people need to be involved in the ongoing work of Clerk of the Works, which wouldn't be a fair discussion tonight if we think we need to go out to bid on this as a fair process. So I'm curious what others, how others feel about it. I was not on this board when we went out to bid the first time for Clerk of the Works, so.
I will just chime in, and you're right, we do have the option to continue your services once we engage in a contract, but we also have the option to go out to bid if it's a large sum.
Okay.
Yes, Randy.
I asked to begin with, so I bet, I'm not alone. So what is phase 2, part 2? You know, that isn't the original baseball field we started with.
No.
That we, the taxpayers, want finished before we see any other section started. Just doesn't make a lot of sense.
I'm going to agree with Randy. That doesn't make a lot of sense that we would stop a project when we have contractors already on site. So Whitney, you had asked me a question about the loom on the field for an example. Right now, phase 2, part 1, the pile of loom, part of that contract, that entire loom pile belongs to Ranger. That's not our loom pile. So Ranger, if this contract ends right now and you bring in another contractor for the next, they're taking that pile of loom with them, and we're paying the extra $600,000 to bring another pile of loom in. Those are the type of things that we rolled through when we were doing phase 2, part 2.
When you say contractor, you're talking about Ranger. We're separating the clerk of the works. They're two separate things.
Right, yeah.
Right. That's,
yeah.
I just want to make that clear. We're not stopping Ranger.
Right.
We're just
all
talking about
all the work that's
item.
gone into this design, and getting the bid out and all that stuff was part of phase 2, part 2. Yes.
Which we need a clerk of the works for.
Which you've had a clerk of the works for free for the past year.
Right, but
yes.
for what you just said, phase 2, part 2 going forward.
Yes.
We need a clerk of the works.
Again, I strongly suggest it. I have
Yeah.
just watched project after
I'm-
project after project in this town fail because the qualifications just haven't been there for the people running the jobs. Yeah.
Corey?
I've been kind of part of following this along since the whole thing started, and I've said from day one that I think it was the smartest move the town made was to get a clerk of the works, and I think that it would be doing the taxpayers a disservice to go out to bid to try to find somebody else that hasn't been in this whole process. He knows the whole process. I mean, I just don't think there's any money to be saved. I think we should secure that, and then we can move on to the next part. But I think it would be a bad disservice if we try to save $2 and do something different.
Dale?
Where's the money coming from?
The money for this will come through that athletic complex account with the transferred money.
Out of the 522?
No.
This is for the $3
Oh, you're
million.
saying it's only
CDS.
coming out of
This is
the
built
CDS
into-
grant?
This is built into the CDS grant.
Correct. This only happens if we get the grant. And the grant can cover the costs.
So which means no work's gonna be done as clerk of the works until we have that $3 million safely in a town of Skowhegan account. Meaning, we're not gonna have any bills that we're gonna say, where is this money coming from? Oh, it's coming from that 3 million, because I've heard about that 3 million for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And
So no invoicing.
2.5 years before we get it.
No invoicing is going to happen until the $3 million is sitting in, or whatever amount it ends up being, into this account.
If you get clerk of the works, you're not gonna be doing any work?
I have been doing work for the last year on specifically this project.
2.2,
On 2.2, yes,
for free.
for free. I've actually been doing work on all 3 phases of parts for free.
Here's a question. Does that mean that the bill we get is gonna include, your bid is gonna be for some of the past work too?
It's going to certainly make up for some of it, yes. Yeah. But I will also say this, it is below market, still below market. So just a reminder, Gail, I went 2.5% on the last one, which just covered George. Actually, it didn't even cover George. So Wentworth has actually been one of the funders on this project for the past year and 4 months. We are literally one of the funders on this project. I know that surprises you, but it's the truth.
No, it doesn't, because I'm gonna tell you, the job I do here doesn't get done in 40 hours a week.
Yep.
So the town's getting a gift from me all the time on the work that I do.
Yep.
So, believe me, I totally understand.
Yes, Randy.
So we need none of the $3 million to finish what we've started. And I'm talking the baseball field with the bleachers and the stadiums and the concession stands and the bathrooms.
No,
But that's what the town wanted.
that's not correct, though.
So the issue I have with this whole thing is phase one and project one, phase two, project one, phase two, project two. Baseball field, multi-purpose field. The problem with it is they were both merged together. So now we're on phase two, project two. But it includes multiple items that we need to complete the ball field. And I have taken time to split that up, right? So we know what that is, and then split up what the multi-purpose field will be. And we do that, and then we want to come up, and we presented various alternatives off of Ranger's bid. We sat down, we had a meeting, and we asked for this information, and the information that you provided me took a week and a half to get, and is still unclear.
Hold on.
So
A week and a half,
that's where we're at.
a week and a half of my time is what you just said?
I'm just saying that we're not.
But think about this. So you wanted another week and a half of my free time. Gail, you're writing this down, I hope. Your requests, remember, everything you're requesting from this contract or this Ranger bid is outside my scope right now, and you continually have been asking me for it. But I can continually say, you have an engineer of record on board, you should be asking them that. I have been really good about getting back to everybody that's been asking questions. I've been doing tours. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing beyond, way beyond. I'm asking you guys now to lock me down. You can say yay or nay right now, please, because I'm either walking out of this room or I'm not. But you're asking me now questions that were supposed to come up on the next agenda item, and I'm either going to be here or I'm not.
Steve, I can see you're upset. But I hope that you understand where we're at right now.
I understand this better than anybody else at this point. Believe me.
Okay.
I've got this project down, believe me.
So from my opinion, I don't feel like you've given us the information that we needed 2 weeks ago so we could make any decisions. And that's frustrating. And I have contacted you multiple times. The answers are not coming back in a way that I can understand them or make sense out of them. Or when I compare them with other prices, they're not accurate.
But as I said in one of those email responses, you're nickel and diming irresponsibly right now. For example, you asked me about the poles. I talked to an engineering firm and they said the poles shouldn't cost this much. Well, that engineering firm had no idea that we have bedrock 1.5 feet down. So what do you think his answer is when we have to start drilling every single hole for these poles? He's going to say, well, that price is probably about right, because you didn't give him all the information. And the point is, if you don't ask the right questions, you're never going to get the right answers. Everybody always idealizes what the costs are going to be, always, because they don't know the project like I do. And I'll say that straight up. So you're getting answers from people, oh, we're going to get the fencing company. We can hire the fencing company by ourselves. Really? So who is going to do the layout for them? Who is going to do the GPS for them? Who is going to make sure that they got everything done in time? Because they're holding up the next guy who's holding up the next guy. That's what the 15% markup is on Ranger. So you're saying, oh, we can save 15% and go hire a fencing company ourselves. It's short-sighted thinking, and you know it's short-sighted thinking. You can't manage a project that way.
You're jumping all over the place, Steve.
No, I'm pretty much consistent with the fact that what you're presenting me with, the questions I constantly am getting from you, I'm responding to constantly.
They're not making sense to me.
Okay, well, I guess I won't make sense to you then. I appreciate your consideration.
I'd like you to iron it out.
Huh?
It would be good if you could iron it out. If you give us polls and you don't give us the specs, and 2 weeks later you say, well, you got to get the specs somewhere else, that delays the whole process.
You're asking me for specs on phase 2, which you're not paying me for. Do you understand that? So Whitney, I want you to come and do my whole lawn over tomorrow.
Steve.
No cost.
You said you would do the baseball field. You merged the
This has
baseball
nothing to
field
do with the
into phase
baseball
2.
field. You're talking about the poles throughout here.
We're just talking about poles, okay? But if you go back to the rest of the project right now, the rest of the project is all interlinked with the baseball field.
And Whitney, you can't walk in here. You can't walk in here 5 or 20 years later on this project and say, all right, this is what you know why we got here with because we spent the money we had, right? That was the whole idea. We were spending the money we had. No, we didn't go buy new bleachers for this because we didn't have the money. Now you want new bleachers for it. Where else is it gonna come from? It has to be linked to the grant at that point. We didn't have the concession stand built into that because we didn't have the money for it. When we got the money, it's a development that just moves this way. When you got the money, you finish things. But now you're saying, hey, I demand to have all the stuff. Why didn't you have it in there? We didn't have it in there to start with, way before I was a CM. Way before I was a CM. It just wasn't there, Whitney. So I can't make up the money.
I'm sorry, everything you're talking about isn't the issue right now. The fact is we had a conversation. You didn't provide the information we asked for. It slowed down the project. Now, if you could provide us with the information we want, that would be great. Second of all, if you did not link the two phases together, then you still have baseball field to do. You still have $1 million worth of baseball work to do there. And is that part of your contract, or are you making that part of the other contract?
That's part of this contract. I've already got a contract for this. We're working on it. I have a meeting tomorrow at 6:30. You want to join me? Please do.
The items that you put on here, right, that are for the baseball field.
They're
in phase 2, project 2.
They're-
That is related to the multipurpose field. That is the problem, Steve. You've linked baseball field jobs to the multipurpose field job, and now you're linking.
I
the
linked
contract.
money. I linked money to items that complete the projects. Yes. So unless, as Gail just said, you're going to go raise more funds out of the reserve accounts, you're not getting brand new bleachers out there because it was never put into the bid package. It was never built into this project because we didn't have the money when we started the project.
We didn't ask for brand new bleachers. I asked you to use the old bleachers, if you remember. You put brand new bleachers in.
You never asked. You said transfer those to this field.
Steve, we're wasting time here.
You're wasting my time. Yes, you are correct.
Okay, you can have a seat then.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, yes.
Question for Steve, but since he's disappeared, I'll just ask the question. I know, but, so, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to this whole mess. Because I feel like it's a mess. So, right now, Wentworth has Clerk of the Works kind of paid for phase 2, part 1, which is the ball field that we want for our kids. And tonight we're talking about phase 2, part 2, which we don't have a Clerk of the Works for, and we don't have the money for, because it's tied to a grant we don't have. So my question to Steve was going to be, how much of this discussion on phase 2, part 2 is taking place because Denise needs all that information to finish the grant so we can get the $3 million so that we can move forward on the whole project?
We need bid alternatives, and we need accurate numbers so that we can select or we can decide what way we want to go. And until we get accurate numbers, it's really hard to move forward. And I will admit, there's been a total lack of clarity in this project. It's been going on for a year, okay? I've been trying to clear it up as best I can. It's extremely confusing. I have had a very difficult time understanding Steve's documents. I've approached him multiple times. We're not there yet. So I don't want to spend the town's money until I know exactly what we're spending it on. And that's where we're at right now. I want to finish the ball field and then see what kind of money we have and then move forward.
But can we do that without, how do we do that? How do we finish the ball field? We can finish the ball field, it just might not be everything you want. That might, well, no, we have the bleachers from the memorial field. We allow it. I don't know, but I know
We have portable bleachers that we use on all ball fields, so that's not an issue.
So the bleachers are not an issue.
Not an issue.
So, can we, I mean, I went on the tour last Saturday or the Saturday before. And the field looks really good. I mean, things are laid out, they're ready to do the dugouts and the batting cages and ready to sod. And that puts the field in play. The kids will be able to play next year on it. What it doesn't do is it doesn't give us the money or the information, all the information we need to finish phase 2, which is the multi-sports field and the concession stands and the bathrooms. And we can't talk about those until we have that grant. And we can't even go out for bids for them because we don't know what kind of money we're looking at. So if we go out for bid and the bid comes in to finish phase 2, part 2 at $5,600,000, so then do we just stop the whole project, or do we have to be able to be in a position where we can step back and say, okay, so we're going to put the loom down on the multi-field and we're going to finish the bathrooms and hopefully we can get a concession stand in. I mean, but it seems to me like we're stuck. We're stuck because of an information piece that is really, I think, a communication piece. I've sat here a long time listening.
All I can tell you is, I don't believe we have the necessary information right now to make a decision on the bids, because we don't have the alternative bids that we've asked for. If Steve can't provide those bids, we have to go find out what those bids are so we can see if, we want to know what we're spending our money on to see if we have enough money, right?
But Steve is not responsible for those bids because he is not clerk of the works of that part of this project yet. He's not being paid. He's not being paid to do all these bids.
Right, well, we had a meeting 2 weeks ago, and it seemed to not be a problem for him to provide the bids. And he actually did provide me with bids, but they were way off. When I asked him about the specs on the bids, he said he couldn't do that. So I say, why provide me with that information if you refuse to provide me with the specs? At that point, we just need to know what the cost of these items are.
How do we know they're way off?
Because I've had conversations with other contractors, and they're way off, okay?
Like way off high or way off low?
They're way off high.
But those contractors don't know what that property is up there and what it
So
entails.
I've talked, all I can tell you is that's why so I had contractors that said, you don't have to worry about ledge because actually they have a way of going through it that costs like $1,000. We have a difference here right now of poles that I have that are estimated to cost $38,000, but I've been told these poles we can get them for $6,000 or $7,000. That's the difference. So we need to clarify this before we move on. We need
38
to,
for all of them? Or
38 apiece.
38. And are these for lights for the baseball field?
Yes, these are.
No, for the football.
For the multi-purpose and the football
Right.
field.
Is it so they can play games at night?
Yes,
So these lights are so they can play games at night?
yes.
Okay. Only games that I know we play at night are football. We've never had field hockey at night, and we've never had, do we have lights at Memorial Field?
No.
No. So I'm just saying, it's a perfect time to play games in Saturday afternoon and before. I'm telling you, there are great programs that don't have to play under the lights. So.
Yeah, you're going on a little bit of a tangent. We're just talking about what's included in the bid. We're talking about comparisons.
Steve, if we let him walk out the door, and I'm surprised he'll ever walk back in through the door again. Just saying, we're gonna be spending a whole lot more money, and yeah, I am going on a tangent, but that's what I use.
So the issue comes down to this. We need to know what these things cost. And until we know what they cost, we're not moving forward on that. That's where we're at.
Did it go out to bid?
First one?
It hasn't gone, it went out to Ranger, certain ones went out to bid. but
Okay.
not all the
So we got
alternatives.
bids back on them, correct?
Yes.
And we get a bid back from Sergeant Ranger, the only two people that bid on it?
Correct.
So it doesn't matter what any other contractor's got to say, if they're the only two that put bids in,
They didn't bid.
I mean, I could say the police department put a car out to bid and I didn't bid it, or say, well, I could've sold that to you $5,000 cheaper, it doesn't make much matter.
The problem
Like
was,
it-
we didn't get additional bids on the alternative options. They weren't provided to us. So we
Well,
went
yeah,
out
but
to
they're
get
not,
those.
you know, you can't really do that, you can't say, well, here, I want you to build this field to one outfit, and then say, well, I'm gonna have this guy do this guy do that, it's a whole package,
So-
they bid the whole process.
So right now, we got bids for concrete foundations that are 5 feet in diameter and 14 feet deep. They cost about $150,000 just to do that. The lights that go on top of them and the poles, they're another $52,000 apiece, and then the lights are $50,000. So if you want to spend $1 million+ on each field, that's where we're at right now. Or we
We
can.
don't have to put them in, it's an alternative.
Right, but we've got to run some kind of infrastructure in there. So what I'm saying is, let's keep it open, and let's find out what telephone poles cost, because they could be an alternative. Until we get that bid, or until somebody tells us what that price is, we can't move forward. And that's what we don't have. We don't have an accurate bid for telephone poles.
And just to ask, my understanding is that those bid numbers are needed not to choose a contractor right now, but so that Denise can put a list of things we would like to spend money on in the grant budget so that we can mobilize the money.
And she has to do the whole project to do the grant. She can't just do.
The whole project is a full scope of work. I already put the full scope of work in there. That just tells Steve and I an idea of how far we can get. Can we get past field 2 and do something else? Can we stay in field 2? The bids are just a number. We can always work on things when we get the clerk of works and on the table. I mean,
And my understanding, Denise, is that I'm not advocating for $150,000 light poles, but if you put $150,000 light poles per the bid that you got back into the grant budget and we spent less, you do a grant budget adjustment and you free up monies to do more, right?
yeah.
How the application works is when I did the CDS grant and the HUD, the whole project is a full scope of work. I put everything in there. It doesn't matter if we go grass turf. It doesn't matter if we do wood poles or steel poles. It doesn't matter. As long as the project is being completed in the scope of work, it's not specific. So, for instance, the previous board voted, the site plan, that's how it was. So that gave us direction to move forward. Then our wheels are going backwards again, then we go forward again. So it was a halt there because I had to call HUD and be like, all right, now we don't even know CDS. I'm like, we don't know if we're doing grass or turf. And they're like, well, once you figure it out, you're gonna have to have some idea for the scope of work so that when we do the project description, we're more specific when we go to the HUD. But at this point, this whole project right here is the full scope of work through the CDS grant and through HUD. So it doesn't matter if we even do field 2. I mean, we could do something else. But this is the route we're going, is working further in and working our way out, which makes sense.
Yeah, and so you're waiting on specific numbers from contractors who can give you an idea of what those things will cost.
Yep.
Whitney, what you're waiting on is additional items that were not included in the bid specs that Steve went out to go get. Is that right?
Yes.
Those add-ons.
After our meeting, it was my opinion that he was going to get the bids for us, and we'd look at them and then make our decision. He provided us with a spreadsheet that was complicated to understand, and that didn't provide us with enough information to make an assessment on them. So we need to do more homework, find out what the true cost of these things are, and then go from there. We're talking about spending $2 million on lights and light poles and foundations, or $200,000 potentially. This is a huge amount of money. We need to figure it out, because we want to provide these fields with lights, but they don't need Taj Mahal lights. It's Little League Field. We want to provide them with what they need, so we can use the funds for other recreation parts of this job.
And that can happen, but the bid packet went to the board. The board approved the bid packet. The bids went out. We received the bids, and it is what it is. So if it was going to be fine-tuned that at the time before the bids even were approved to be sent out, that should have been a discussion to be very specific. But right now, what it went out to bid, those numbers are okay. It doesn't mean they're going to be set in stone. That's something we can work on. That's just giving us a budget to give us an idea, knowing that if we save $100,000, we know we can move it and go further into the concession stand or whether. The scope of work, nothing says in the HUD application that I have to stop if we don't do field 2, or if we finish field 2, it doesn't say that we can't do any more, because I already put the full scope of work in there to cover us all the way as far as we can get or as far as we can't get. It does not matter. So we just need a clerk of works right now. Move along with, just prove the clerk of works, let us do our work, and try to save money, which we have been through other potential funders and then other ways of doing the project. I mean, it's just a number. So nothing stops us from changing anything from the original bid. But that bid packet was approved by you, and the bids came to you, and those are on hold right now because you want more options. So you just got to be careful with bids. When you approve a bid, can't go back and redo a bid. That opens it up. I mean, that's, if being specific in a bid request for bids. I mean, you got to be specific, because now you can't just open up bids and then the numbers are out there. Then you want to change it and go back. It's kind of like you just can't do that.
Thank you, Denise. We understand the process. Elijah.
I think like the discrepancy in details is important. I agree that like once you have a bid, you can't change that bid. The only part that I was a little bit curious, that kind of I was wondering about, was if we were to approve the clerk of the works tonight, and then a rough estimate would be used for Gail to work 50 hours a week instead of 40 hours a week, how would we know specifically what Gail's going to charge us for 50 hours versus 40 hours? It's those type of details that we would want to know in advance. And I think that we're emotionally charged often when we're having these discussions, and I just wonder, we don't, and personally, I feel this way about the select board in general. I don't know how long I've been here, but like we don't have enough time to talk about it. We don't like really, we aren't able to like really get into it and sort of like sort things out with professionals that truly understand the process. So I kind of sit back and I'm like, well, I see both sides, right? But I don't like the idea of, I've done an awful lot of work for you guys, and I'll let you know how much it's going to cost later. Like that's tricky. But if there's like some standards around that, then I mean, I think that Steve has done a good job throughout the course of his time with us, and I think he's sort of like tried to save us money, and he's tried to, whether we were advocating for turf or whether we weren't advocating for turf, he was giving us the details. I didn't find him as not objective, but when the town was complaining about transparency issues, I was curious because I didn't have that information, right? So I didn't see any transparency issues up here, but maybe I'm not smart enough to understand what a transparency issue is from the perspective of the town. I think I'm maybe going down the rabbit hole, but if anyone wants to try to pick that apart a little.
Amber, did you say that he had gave a packet or something with a percentage?
We have a proposal that we're considering tonight. And
Correct, so ultimately you can put a calculator together and you know what's going to cost you.
he did not indicate a percent of
No, he
project. He gave us a fee schedule for different types of skilled workers. And so there is nothing in the proposal that says we're going to need approximately this many hours of this skill level. It's dated back to July 13th. So to Gail's question, there is some concern just because it's not in here. If we approve this tonight, dating back to July 13th, bills are gonna roll in for the work that's been happening that that hasn't been paid for at what rate? $2.50 an hour? It's not specific, so I would want more specifics. I don't want Steve to keep working for free. But if we approve this tonight, then we receive invoices, we've said we'll pay them, or we go to dispute resolution. I feel like we need more clarity and parameters around how much does Steve feel like we're in the hole? That's not indicated here. If we're gonna get back billed for that time, how much more Clerk of the Works time is it gonna take to get Denise launched with a budget that goes to go get the $3 million? And there's no mention in here about not getting invoiced until we have $3 million in hand, no mention. So then we are back in a boat where we could get invoiced for something we don't have money for yet. So I will say this again, I don't want Steve to keep working for free. He's done a heck of a lot of work for this project. I do feel like I didn't know this was coming, even though I was asking to lock that in. I know that we need a Clerk of the Works. I thought that was something that went out to bid in a fair process. I thought we would see Steve submit a bid, and so this just doesn't have enough detail for me to feel comfortable yet, even though I deeply appreciate what Steve is doing.
Yes, Randy?
So, I don't really blame anyone for this. We just made it too freaking complicated, and there's no need of it. There's just absolutely no need of it. It's been poor planning from the beginning. You don't go buy a $400,000 car when you got a budget to buy a $100,000 car. It's just, you can't do that. It makes no sense. And so if you look at our history, we're stealing money from the police department, we're stealing money from the fire department. That's not good planning. It just isn't. So the layman's sitting back saying, what the hell is going on? They truly are. And we just made it so complicated that we don't have money enough to carry us through. I don't think that was Steve's fault. I don't think it was any intentions of the past boards. But maybe the thing to do was right now say, whoa, what can we finish with what we got? We don't even know if we're going to get the $3 million. I mean, that's just a hope. There's no proof to that. No one's been guaranteed that in writing. Would we go finance a new home if we didn't know we had income coming? Of course not. So you pay for what you can afford to pay for. You just do. I said this my whole life, and I've survived this way. Use the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. I mean, people understand that. You get things done that way. You go from A to B to C to D. You don't have to jump all over the place. And that's what we're doing right now. This discussion happened, what, a month ago? Month and a half ago? And I thought, there was a lot of people gathered here that said, let's finish the ballpark. We don't even know if we're going to finish yet. I don't know. I've been a taxpayer in this. I've been here for 72 years almost. It's ridiculous. We need to smooth it out and fix it.
I think we're all in agreement, Randy.
Yeah.
And I think just to close out the discussion on this item tonight is that I think we do need to plan this contract in an advisable way to make sure that we're not getting out over our skis, so to speak, and owing money before we have it. The monies to pay for this Clerk of the Works phase is coming out of the $3 million, and do we have money to play catch up on time that's been spent that Steve might like to invoice us for? We're not being presented with that tonight, so.
No one would think that was unfair.
Right.
I think that's very fair. No one should work free. And I think that Steve, his heart's been in this project from day one. But unfortunately, his heart isn't replacing money.
So,
I'm
sorry,
He did say that there would be no charges for any of phase 2, part 2, even the work he's done. until the $3 million isn't paid.
It's not in here, though.
Right.
And if we approve this, there is plenty of language around how you resolve disputes, but there's nothing that says that there's a contingency. It means a revision to this, which means we can't approve this tonight. This needs revision.
And he said up there that there would be some sort of his future bills would make up for his past work. And how much of the past work? Some, but how much is some? Is it 50%, 60%, 0%?
We don't want to, as
don't know,
Randy,
we don't know.
yeah, as Randy said, we don't want to pay for a $400,000 house before we have the money. Randy, what you said is, I think, what we're all saying is we're trying to say, whoa.
Yeah.
We're well aware, folks. I'm new, right? But we're all new. We're all a year on this board or less, and that's what we're trying to do. There are some discrepancies in this proposal, right? We need to make sure that it has language to protect the taxpayers of this town. I mean, that's what it comes down to. If we approve number 7, I mean, it says no amount has been determined, and another agenda item will take place later with an amount in purchasing form. So we're locking this person in, and then, boom, we're locked in to whatever amount they're going to bring to us. And do you see what we're saying? So we need to back up a second. If you do a simple, and I think it's 7% or 8% that was talked about as a fee. It's not listed in here, right? But if we were to try to do our own calculations on that, 8% on $3 million is $250,000 of potential liability that we're signing the taxpayers up for without any protection saying that, we need to. And then also our purchasing policy also states purchases over $50,000 should go out to bid in the spirit of the taxpayers, right? So Steve had said he was the only one that bid. Maybe he'll bid again. Maybe he'll be the only one. But this board has to do what's best for the taxpayers from start to finish, right? And if we get to the same spot, great. But we need to make sure we do it correctly, and we do whoa, let's make sure we do this in a proper manner. So we're saying the same thing. Yep.
So we could be tabled.
So
Well,
we have a motion on the table and a second to approve this for the sake of discussion. We can vote on that, and it sounds like we'd prefer to wait, so we would.
I mean, we can vote on it. What I'd like to see is that we end up putting this out to bid. This is significantly different than the previous 2 contracts that he had, which were for $60,000. As Nick reiterated in the contract, there's no percentage here, but potentially we're paying $250,000 to $300,000. This is a much different contract, and we want to know that we're paying an appropriate amount and that we have the funds. And I'm just going to finish. If he has a contract that says he's going to finish the baseball field, but part of the baseball field to complete that is included in the multi-purpose field project, then that creates more confusion. And we need to clear this up before we go forward. It's all about making sure we don't spend money we don't have, and we move, judiciously and prudently through this process. I'm not against Steve, but as Nick said, the purchasing policy is telling us to go this route, and we have time to do it. We should do it.
So how do we go about doing that? Can I make a motion to put it
Yes.
out to bid?
Yeah.
Well, you have a motion right now on number
Motion
7.
on the table for number
So
7.
you'll need to either vote it up or vote it down first.
Let's just vote it down. So, is there any more discussion?
So, go ahead. No, go ahead.
My question was, doesn't everything have to be done in a timely fashion to get that $3 million? If we put it out to bid, how long is that gonna be? Are we still gonna be in the timeframe?
Yes, we'll probably do it for 2 weeks. We want to make sure we're in this. That's sort of why we can't just table it and talk about it later. We need to make a decision. And unfortunately, this is what we've been presented from. As Steve said, it was mismanaged from the start, but we're trying to clean that up. And
Right.
yeah.
But how fair is it to go out to bid now that we've slung a bunch of numbers that he proposed possibly out that anybody could watch this for, and now all of a sudden we're gonna put it out to bid? It wouldn't be very hard to get that bid.
Well, the good part is he didn't attach any hours to it, so you could request this probably from any firm. It's just their going rates for each of their administrative fee, their lead designer, the engineering. It's just their generic fee schedule for 2026.
So
He didn't put any
I
numbers.
understand that, but asked a lot of them, and a lot of stuff has been thrown out, and now we're just gonna go put it out to bid. I don't really know if that's the smartest idea, and then you might just get one stupid bid, so what happens if it comes back at 500,000, and then we don't have a clerk of the works, and we're in a mess like we were before, spending $400,000 or $500,000 extra dollars, putting in ponds and ditches that we didn't know we had to have, that's why we're in the shambles that we are.
I hear what you're saying, Corey, but I also hear that previous
Yeah, I'm
discussion.
just-
It's sort of like, holy moly. Yeah.
Sometimes be careful what you wish for.
You heard it first.
Can we modify the question?
You have a
You can-
motion on the table.
Yeah.
We can amend it if somebody wants to amend it, but I think that it would be easier just to vote on this and then
Make a new motion.
make a new
Yeah,
motion.
that'd be the cleanest way to do it.
So we're gonna, since there's no more discussion, we're gonna vote on a discussion decision to approve the Wentworth Partners and Associates proposal for continued clerk of works services for the athletic complex Phase 2, Part 2. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion fails 5-0. Okay. We can now entertain another motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we put the clerk of the works services out to bid with specifications that include timeline, activities not to exceed amounts.
Second.
Kevin,
Yes.
seconded, yep.
Not to exceed amounts. Okay, we had it first from,
For Phase 2, Part 2.
Yeah.
okay, Amber, Kevin. Okay, we have a first and a second discussion.
Nick, you added Phase 2, Part 2. Part of the goal here is to get the 3 million in, spend it on Phase 2, Part 2.
It should say phase 2, part 2, because if you don't, then it's up and down.
Right.
Right, and we can assume it ends at Phase 2, Part 2, and we can tuck as many things in as possible. Okay, so I'm comfortable with that.
Okay,
Do we, oh, no. That's all set. Sorry.
so I'm just trying to come up with the right wording here. So this is a discussion and decision to put clerk of works services out to bid with specifications, including timeline and activities not to exceed amounts for the athletic complex Phase 2, Part 2.
Yes.
Okay, do I have a motion? I have a motion. Okay, so we'll have a discussion. Just trying to figure
Kevin,
out.
second, we
Go
discussed.
ahead, you win.
Okay, sorry. Okay,
I have a question.
go ahead, Janet.
Okay, so the whole reason why we didn't want to vote that last one, I get the wording and everything. But now we're gonna put it out to bid, and we're gonna request basically what we want, which is what we're gonna get from him. What's stopping him from charging us for what he's already done anyway? The whole big thing sounded like you didn't want him to charge backwards, but why can't he charge backwards anyway? He did the work.
We have a contract in place with him already for the
Okay.
earlier phases of the project.
Okay, so that kind of
That are
stops
known.
that? Okay,
is
so
still being paid
you're still, so you're gonna start fresh, whether it be him or a new person. It's a start fresh. Whereas if we had passed it the way it was, it could have gone backwards. Is that?
We're gonna define the work as a
Yep.
bid process should over 50,000. We're gonna
Yep.
define the work and we're gonna
Right.
see what that's gonna cost
Okay.
us so that we
I
can
just
make
had
a
to
fair
get
decision.
that in my head. I
Yeah.
got it now.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I don't know why it wasn't defined from the get-go, so that's the
Yeah.
part that I'm a little bit confused about, is the ambiguous nature of like, okay, I may charge in the future for this work that's done in the past, so I think if that detail was there, we would have already paid, right? It wasn't because we didn't have any money or there was like some, you know, goodwill involved. I mean, it feels icky a little bit, right? Like at the same time, but that definition, I hope that Steve doesn't feel like he's losing something because of that. I hope that he makes the bid and gets the bid and everything else, right? But at the same time, that wishy-washy component of it was what stuck me, so.
I agree. His contract is ambiguous, and we're really not sure what we would be voting on or how much we would be paying him. And that wouldn't be fiscally prudent for us to do.
So you're gonna put a bid package together, go out and state exactly
We'll put an RFP out, yep.
what we think we're after.
So this way you're gonna put in those little things that you're worried about.
Yep.
that
Yep.
You're trying to kind of pick it apart at
We
the
can
other end to
Right.
try to save money. We're gonna do it right up front.
We can ask that they be addressed. So for example, we know it's a $3 million grant. We can estimate what percent of the project clerk of the work services might cost us. That way we don't end up in a situation where, the taxpayers are getting jaundiced by ongoing engineering fees that are never ending, or, not from Steve, but I've sat up here with lots of heartburn over engineering fees. So we put parameters on it. We clearly define it up front so that we all know what we're getting into.
Okay. So can we vote on this? All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. We move on to item 8, discussion on the athletic complex Phase 2, Project 2, project scope. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to table this until we have more information and we have a clerk of works after the bid comes back.
We have a motion by Eli to table this. Ethan, sorry about that. Do I have a second?
Second.
And we have a second by Amber.
On the premise that it would be premature to have this discussion now without a clerk of the works being paid, including Steve. We'd be asking for more free time.
Agreed. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. To table. All right. Item 9, discussion decision on the proposed Plymouth Engineering contract for services to complete the environmental assessment for the ball field project and to expend an amount not to exceed $10,000 from the Recreation Department Capital Reserve account athletic complex designation.
Approve is written.
I
Make
have
a
a
motion
first
to
from
approve.
Ethan,
Second?
and second from Elijah. Discussion.
This is, I'll speak, this is just one of the check marks we need to make for the HUD application, so we have to get this done.
Is the wording on this correct? It says ball field project, but it is for, wouldn't this be Phase 2, Part 2?
No, part one.
It's Part 1?
The ball field's part one.
If you look under,
This is for the,
if you see up here, it says phase 2, part 2.
oh, shit.
You see what I'm saying? By project,
Oh,
project.
on the project.
Yep.
So,
When-
This covers the full scope of work moving forward.
Right.
It's the whole Phase 2
okay,
project.
I see it. It's right on,
That whole parcel has to be done.
it's right on the agreement. It's just not,
And this is a necessary process in order to get the grant.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Environmental assessment, the EA and the NEPA.
Yep.
Any further discussion?
I guess the only other discussion I would have is just a technicality. Is it appropriate for Denise's name to be on here, or is this the town that is engaging with Plymouth Engineering?
It's for the client.
Who's the client?
I think the client should be the town manager and the town.
Just on a technicality that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that the town is essentially the client. I think the point person should be the town manager. on this job.
And then the town manager works with Denise on the
Yes.
practicalities?
Yes.
Okay, is that comfortable?
Yep.
Okay.
So
Do we have to
we're gonna pass that contingent, do I
make
have
an
to change anything?
amendment?
Well, the contract.
We can go back to Plymouth and they can just change this, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
You don't need to amend it. We
Yeah.
will be able to just change it. So
Okay.
just say you approve to have Plymouth like you said here, the services to have them do this.
Okay, as long as,
Yeah, we're good.
okay,
And actually, the signature line already says the client is the town.
Right.
right,
Right.
right,
Clean that up.
yeah,
So I'll just have them change the title.
okay,
Yep, we'll be good.
thank you. All right, all those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. All right, we'll now move on to the treasurer's warrants to be approved. Need a motion?
Approve as written?
Second?
Okay, we have a first and a second discussion. Seeing no further discussion, shall we vote? All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Can move on to unfinished business. Does anybody see any issues they want to discuss?
I already talked about Hilton Bridge, so.
Okay.
And we have a ordinance talk next Tuesday, so.
Okay.
Talking about some of those.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
All right.
It was
Yep.
unorthodox, right?
Sorry, I'll try.
You're good,
better
you're good,
next
you're
time.
good, you're good. Very nice. They're trying. Yeah, you said correct. You just said he's correct.
Thank you, Elijah. Glad you're here.